Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with your channel host, GBHL James, and we have got Speak Friend and Question number 55, I believe. So first of all, some apologies that I'm on my own doing this episode. Unfortunately, Jamie and I have had it really hard to get together over this last week and since just before New Year's. Also, another apology, we didn't manage to finish off our Fallen Realms week, which means that you will have to wait until you see Harad and Umbar be covered in the source book reviews, but that will be coming soon, hopefully. And I'll also try and get a battle report in. It looks like it might possibly be Eastern Kingdoms versus my new Isengard, so I'm going to try and get that organised in the next week or so. But it has been busy times. Of course, it's start of January, which means from a fitness point of view, we've got lots of people getting on board, and that's why Jamie and I haven't been able to get together this week. Also, we might normally try and film on a Thursday, but he's had a couple of problems this last Thursday, and we've just not been able to get it in. So I will be doing it on my own. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I've got a roast on the go. Smells nice. How long have we got, Jane?
16 minutes.
It's 16 minutes till the chicken's done, and then obviously that'll settle. So we'll crack on. If I have to do this in 2 videos and put it together, then we'll do that. Okie doke. So I'll start off the question with Josh T. He's put, "Hey guys, Happy New Year. This is my first comment on Speak Friend and Question." Well, welcome Josh, and normally at this point I would refer you to Jamie Giblin and say, what does he have to do, Jamie? And he would say, well, now you are in the loop, you've asked a question, and now that we're answering it, you have to ask a question next week, and so the loop goes ever on. So I've got Thranduil foot and mounted for Christmas and wanted to use him in an all-hero force. That is a great idea. I'm going to see a lot. I think in this next year, for all hero armies, you will almost certainly see a lot of the new Thranduil, because the profile is fantastic for that kind of setup. But I was wondering what other heroes you guys might use him with. Thanks for all your hard work, Josh. Well, of course, it depends what points values. I would say that you want to go for sort of the high fight values and 3s in all the right places. So the likes of Glorfindel is a good call with the fight 7, all of those 3s, Armour Gondlin being defense 7, causing terror. He's pretty good. You could also go for a Gildalad mounted as well. That's not a bad call. Yeah, he's got the lower fate, but with him being high defense and being such a high fight value, it's going to be quite hard to beat him in the fights. So some of those high elven heroes might be good. Other calls that you might look at, you could maybe go for your Strider all geared up, so you've got that mighty hero. That's never a bad call. Or maybe at lower points values, maybe you think about getting the twins in there, because it's relatively cheap might, and although they've got sort of your 2 attacks base, if you're mounting them and then they're on the floor and they use Twin Elven Blades, they're basically 3 attacks. And yeah, they might have two fate, 2 wounds, but they're pretty decent heroes. So maybe think about going along those lines. Maybe even the likes of Prince Imrahil. Prince Imrahil's pretty good hero for all hero forces, I think. So just look for where those 3s are. If they've got 3 attacks, if they've got 3 wounds, what kind of special rules have they got, what's their killing power. So if they've got a lance, then that usually can help. So yeah, good luck with that, Josh T, and let us know how you go. So next up we've got Stephen Lyon. He's put, I forgot to post a question, the shame. Not exactly Lord of the Rings question, but I was wondering, what is each of your guys' dream car? Well, I can't answer for Jamie. Jane, what am I like with cars?
Vans, but not cars.
Vans, but not cars. I'm not really a petrol head. I'm marrying a petrol head. Jane's really into cars. I'm quite happy with my Citroen Berlingo van, to be honest, with all of its biotic fit signage. But in terms of a dream car, I guess, I mean, I drive Jane's car. Well, I say it's Jane's car, it's our car really. That's what is it?
Alfa Romeo Mito.
It's an Alfa Romeo Mito. I think the next car that we'll try and get after, that's probably going to be more like a family car, to be honest. We get married in 6 months, so Jane really wants an Audi Q3.
Yeah.
So we better get saving for that. I think if you're going to have a family car, it's probably, I mean, it's a big car, but it's probably a little bit too small. So I'm trying to push for, like, you know, your Q18. But I'm not very good when it comes to cars. I tend to sort of be able to sort of pick out what colour they are, and that's about it. No idea for Jamie. He doesn't drive at all. Hopefully he'll learn to drive, because that'll make doing this a lot easier. But yeah, I think my dream car is probably that next family car, which looks like it's going to be one of the Audi bigger cars, or maybe one of the new Range Rovers or bigger BMWs. Q3. It's a Q3. Jane says Q3, so it's a Q3. So thanks for your question, Stephen Lyon. Next up we've got Ben Howard. He's put I like trains. Good for you, pal. Next up we've got Chris Murphy. He's put congratulations on a perfect hour. I know. How good was that? I don't think we've ever filmed this hour-long show in exactly an hour. I think usually it drags on longer when I'm involved, and it's usually a lot shorter when Jamie's involved. So the fact that we could get it on a perfect hour was a big milestone for us after over a year of filming these. So my question is, what is the viability of doing an all-hero evil army but not a Fellbeast army? That's very, very interesting. I know that Ed Ball, so our champion for the last 2 years, who does tend to bring the Fellbeast army, he's theorised this a lot. If you're going for the all-hero and you want to follow a similar kind of pattern to what you would do with an all-hero good, so we're not talking about all-hero like whacking Sauron in there or a dragon or Smaug, now that we've got Smaug. You've got to look at the likes of Gothmog. Okay, so Gothmog is I think your choice for the all-hero. You're not allowing the raids, you know, because you would say maybe your Witch King with his Morgul crown mounted on an armoured horse might not be a bad call. Yeah, if we're allowed to do that. Who else would you put in there? The fact that you can't mount Shagrat or any of the Isengard heroes becomes a problem. But you do have the likes of Saruman for your wizard support, so he could be quite useful at those bigger points costs. I think with the new Bolg, because you can mount him, he's not a bad call. And Azog, of course, so maybe like Gothmog, Bolg and Azog, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Maybe Bolg on his Warg, because he's a bit of a troop killer, isn't he? The fact that you can now mount him on a Warg is a big deal, you know, so he can potentially kill enough troops to end up with Mighty Hero, which if he gets that, then he's well worth the points. And he's obviously got, you know, his defense 7 and 3's in the right places. Whacking with Gothmog, because that's quite a good counter, and again he's mounted. So I'm trying to think of it as the same kind of way that you would think about it for a good all-hero army. So mounting them is key, isn't it? So yeah, I actually think it's viable. Whether we'll see it or not, I just think the good equivalents are better. But I would like to see that. Hopefully we'll see that sometime next year. If anybody's thinking about doing that, leave us a comment below, because I think that's quite a good discussion to have. It's something that we've not really ever seen before without the raids or the Fellbeasts. So thanks very much for your question, Chris. Hopefully see you, maybe not this next year, but the year after. So next up we've got Gurzo Muxi, I think, or MCC. It looks like he's written something in Gaelic, so I'm not even going to try and read that out, or maybe I should. Cade ma ate sib shard. An Irish greeting for you both to learn before your stag. Maybe write it phonetically for us. Or what I could do, I could show it to my instructor Neil and ask him how to say that actually. In fact, he's coming with us, so my stag do is going to be in Galway Bay in Ireland, so that should be good fun. And he's coming with me, so he can be our translator. But my question is, how much would you be willing to pay for a single miniature? For example, I saw Metal Boromir, Captain of Gondor, with a banner on eBay for £40. Would either of you pay that much for him? I wouldn't pay that much for him. I think that you could probably find a way of getting that cheap. I'll keep an eye out for it. Well, I think the ultimate question is, you know, is Smaug, isn't it? Because that's a single miniature. So how much would you pay for Smaug? I think paying between sort of £15 and £30 for some of the rarer individual models is about as much as what you'd get from me. I certainly wouldn't be paying these sort of £80, £90 prices. I just personally don't think that they're worth that much. But Smaug, £295. I've got to get it. I've got to find a way of getting it. I've got to find a way of owning that miniature. Just even if it's just for you guys on the channel. So I think it's one of those situations where I'd be gutted if it went out of production and I didn't have it. So if I can find a way of getting hold of that, then yeah, I would probably pay quite a bit for it. Maybe not in the run up to the wedding. So yeah, that's probably a good level. So next up we've got Hal Torian. He's put, wow, what an honour to have the first question of 2015. I'm actually thinking of starting up a Last Alliance force now that I've finished painting my fiefdom's army. Unfortunately, Númenóreans with bow and spear are quite hard to come by. Any tips for conversions? Overall, the Númenóreans and High Elves have a little variation, so I see a lot of chopping up ahead. Kings of Men Week was awesome. I hope to see this channel grow and prosper in the new year. Well, us too. We're nearly on 2,500 subscribers, so another nice milestone. Hopefully, we can reach 5,000 by the end of the year. That'd be really good. But in order for us to do that, you guys have to keep on supporting this channel, telling your Hobbit friends, your wargaming friends, commenting, liking, sharing, all those things that we usually ask you to do. So you can keep on doing that, then that will be a big help. So in terms of Last Alliance conversions, I've seen quite a few people do conversions of Last Alliance elves in particular. So a lot of people can maybe take sort of the elven blade stance with the sword overhead, and I've seen people put spears in there. I've seen people put shields and swords on guys, you know, so you've not just got that sword pose. I've seen a few, not millions, but I've seen a few. In terms of Númenóreans, well, there's lots of plastic Númenóreans out there, so I guess they're going to be relatively easy to convert in some way. You know, you could definitely replace swords with spears, get your pin drill, your pin vice thingy, drill through and maybe buy some spears that you can put in. You can usually buy spears as bits. I can't think of anywhere off the top of my head where you can get them. Like Bob miniatures and things, I think is where people go. Usually it's just like a little brass rod that you can whack in, so maybe that's a way to go. So you've got your spearmen. In terms of bows, maybe look at some Ministry of Bowmen, maybe do some head swaps that way. That might be a way to do it. Or your Citadel Guard, although they're quite expensive to chop up. So it's just up to you really what you're willing to do. So a good idea maybe is to get yourself onto the Great British Hobbit League Facebook group or the One Ring forum, and maybe put that kind of thing up, because some guys might have done it before, and you know, if someone's done it before, then they're going to be the best people to ask. So good luck with that, pal. Next up we've got Joseph Keller. He's put, thanks for the answer this week, guys. He's put, do you think Games Workshop will release a suicide troll? So I assume that you're referring to the Battle of Five Armies, when that troll runs forward with the thing on its head, gets a bit of a laugh in the cinema when he runs up to the gate and bashes or to the wall and bashes it down. Do I think that they will release that? I think that the guy that, like the design teams and the people who sculpt these miniatures would love to have, and you know, I still think there is that element to Games Workshop. They would love to do those models. The difficulty is, at what point have they been introduced as part of the, you know, the design? So you don't know if some of these things have been like a late addition. Because if it's been a late addition, then, you know, will Games Workshop have had the opportunity to see that? You know, has it been in the script? Because I know that obviously I'm aware that the guys who write the rules for Games Workshop and for The Hobbit get to see the script, so they have an idea of, you know, what's happening. But it's just whether those things have been late additions. I would love to see stuff like that, not because I would want them, but because it's fun. And I like seeing the models, and I'd like to see them on the table. So hopefully we get things like the weird trolls and new evil stuff. And I think that the one shining light towards that is the fact that because we've not had any Iron Hills or any new evil, then there is that as a possibility. So keep my fingers crossed. So I'm sure you guys will do the same. So fingers crossed for Suicide Trolls. So next up we've got Harry HD Miniatures. He's put, hey guys, happy new year to the GBHL team. Thank you very much, brother. He's put, Jamie, fantastic work. Glad to hear you haven't been drinking soft drinks. All habits are hard to break, but keep it up. You just need to make it past the threshold and then it's all gravy. He's doing very well. And Jane and I have joined him on that. No fizzy drinks this year. I think Jane's maybe thinking of having a few Diet Cokes on our honeymoon. But I really want to keep away from them. And I've got another. I'm in an interesting phase at the moment. Harry's as an ex-personal trainer, so he'll probably understand what I'm talking about. I've actually been doing Wendler's 531, which is strength program, and I've been doing a lot of bulking over the winter, so lots and lots of eating, lots of progressively heavy weights in sort of the strength zone, as it were, low repetitions, heavy weight, and it's been working, you know, getting quite big. But I've got another 2 weeks to go, or yeah, 2 weeks to go technically, 1 week of the heavy lifting and 1 week deload, and then I'm going to be stripping back a little bit. So for me, it's, you know, no takeaways and lots of meat and vegetables, because that's what it takes to strip down. So that's my next phase. But my question this week is, have you played many of the scenarios in the old source books, e.g. Gondor in Flames, Khazad-dûm, etc.? And did you use new rules for scenarios when the Hobbit rules came out? Cheers guys, Harry. Well, if you check over the battle reports, we have actually played some of the old scenarios, not all of them. You will see some of them have been kind of like messed about with for like battle companies. I know Jamie was delving a lot into the scouring of the Shire for scenarios. I know that some of the battle reports that we've done with Damien, he's very good at sort of looking at scenarios and seeing where there are flaws and trying to balance it. So for example, when we did like Am and Hen, I know that's one of the old scenarios. We've not done as many as we would like, but that is future content, so I would expect to see that in the future. So we've done things like Barley's Tomb and stuff. So have a little bit of a look over, and hopefully we'll get some more of those out to you guys at some point in the future. So thanks for that, Harry. He's put, oh, and sorry, also you put there, do you use the new rules? Well, some of the old rules are definitely written for, some of the old scenarios are definitely written with the old rules in mind. So things like heroic striking, heroic marching can break them. Especially ones where you've got like Aragorn and the 3 hunters and they've got to get away. You know, if you can heroic march, and there's no point. So yeah, you've got to try. You've got to have a bit of a review of them. So next up we've got Chris Lees, but haven't asked the question in Yonks. Where have you been? Have you forgotten about the loop? The loop is all important, Chris. So out of any armies that you don't play, which army would you like to play or expand on next? Okay, so armies that we don't play. Well, I am waiting for Generation Shift to finish up my Angmar army, so I'm looking forward to giving that a go. You know, Shade and Badur and Witch King and Barrow Whites, orcs with spear and orcs in front, a few Dead Marsh Spectres and stuff. I'm looking forward to trying that out, although Evil doesn't really motivate me. I don't really play with my High Elves. I'd like to build up my Rivendell Night Force a little bit more, maybe do some more of that. I haven't really expanded my Wanderers in the Wild because I'm waiting for my Radagast on Sleigh from Shadow and Flame to be finished, and also Radagast on Foot, so that I can use the one that's mounted to lead stuff. And of course I've got Bayonne I want to finish and do myself. What else? I can't really think of anything. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing... I wouldn't mind playing as like an all-warg army or something a bit fun like that, but I'm not sure whether I'd want to collect it. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. So next up, Ben Howard. This is Mr. I Like Trains. He's put, hey mates, thanks for the tips on the lists I put on the Facebook page. He's put, are there any tournaments in England around June or July? I might bring some Grey company. And that's great that you're looking to get involved. There are tournaments every single month after a phenomenal year with the Great British Hobbit League last year, all across the country, with venues such as Titans Wargaming in London. You've got Slayer Games in Mansfield. You've got Awkward Battles in Huddersfield. You've also got Sterling Wargamers. There goes Jane. Team might be ready soon. You've got Sterling Wargamers doing stuff up in Scotland. Obviously, we're in Stockport. We're going to be running one towards the end of April, so we'll be running a tournament there, so April, June. Usually Throne of Skulls is around June, and then there's also Mid-Sussex Wargamers in East Grinstead. I'm thinking they're doing something around July. So again, the best advice I can give you is keep an eye on that Great British Hobbit League Facebook group, especially the pinned post, because that's when the tournament listings will come up. But yeah, definitely massive recommendation to everybody to get involved in the tournaments. I'm really sorry that I probably won't see all of you next year, but I have a wedding to look forward to. So next up we've got Joe White. He's put, "Hi guys, I'm planning to convert a figure of Alfred in a dress with gold in his bra in order to disguise the scum in my Battle of Five Armies list. But so far I can't find the figures to use as the base. The only one I can find is fantasy and it's the wrong scale. Do you have any ideas? Thanks." You could look at, I know that War Games Foundry, where I've got some Anglo-Saxons, they've got some like villagers, so there might be like a female villager, or you could literally just do a head swap, couldn't you? You could just cut the metal head off and then put an Alfred head on. Alternative, the only thing I can think of from the Hobbit range is Lobelia Sackville Baggins. You can actually get her from like Hobbit Commanders? That doesn't sound right. But she's a plastic miniature, so that's quite an easy conversion. Might be a little bit small, I don't know, but Alfred's quite a small figure, so you can literally just take away the umbrella and you're good to go. So maybe have a little look at that. So thanks for your question, buddy. We've got Ben Howard again. He's actually put a big army list up. I've already commented on this on the Facebook group, so I won't read that one out. So sorry Ben, but I've already given your answer to that. So next up we've got the Prancing Pony. He's put, "Want to do a fun conversion. What do you think of the Goblin King on Fellbeast? Could he survive a round of combat against Dwalin on Pony?" Well, you know, if you're playing with mates and you want to do something fun like that and they're quite happy to let you do it, then yeah, I'm sure that would be interesting. I don't think much could survive against Dwalin on Pony. Mind you, the new Dwalin profile is really good. You choose 4 attacks. 4 attacks, piercing strike, defense 8. Very, very good profile. But good luck with your fun conversion there, Prancing Pony. So next up we've got Liam F. He's put, "Been far too long since I asked the question, but here goes. With the new Galadriel profile, as she doesn't have the unarmed rule, does that mean that she can be armed with a hand weapon, aka an axe? I know it would be filthy, but rules-wise, does that apply?" I think it says that she never counts as unarmed. I don't have it to hand. Whether you could put a hand weapon on her, I'm not sure. Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to be that person? Really? I'm not too sure whether you can do that or not. It says she's never counts as unarmed, but I'm not sure it says that she has a hand weapon and things. The fact that it says she doesn't count as unarmed, even though she is unarmed, suggests that she doesn't have a hand weapon. So therefore, I would say that no, you couldn't. But you shouldn't be doing that anyway, because that would make you a scumbag, so don't do it. So next up we've got Jorit Rind. He's put, "Good job Jamie, don't drink coffee." Yeah, but the fact that he's drinking tea now, that's a big step. Not a hot drinker. But now that he's not drinking Diet Coke, you know, he needs something, so. So next up we've got Josh Forbes. He's put, "New to the GBHL channel. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're enjoying all the content, buddy." He's loving it and also getting back into the hobby after a good 4 years out. Would you guys say some first age models for SBG, maybe characters from the Silmarillion? Or you mean to like convert and stuff? Yeah, certainly. Elves are always really good for stuff like that, and Numenorians, and you know. Of course, the key thing is that it's always clear to your opponent what profile that they are. And with friendly games you can do stuff like that all day long, but if you are planning to go to a tournament, as always, make sure that you check with your tournament organiser. So next up we've got Avatar of Odin. He's put, "What's the weirdest or most surprising army you've ever seen at a tournament that still managed to do well? Have a great 2015 guys." When Mr. Thomas Harrison took Easterlings to a Mansfield tournament early last year, that was he did really well until he came up against Jamie Giblin. Wood Elves in the last two. He was very unlucky to have to play him twice. Thomas Harrison is a good point of call with this, because he does tend to bring, well he did last year, bring fluffy armies instead of bringing his more competitive Wood Elves, so he brought a, was it a Battle of the Black Gate themed army? Or Pelennor Fields themed army? I think it was Pelennor Fields themed army because he had Theoden in it. He did really well, and again that was at a Mansfield tournament. So he tends to do quite well there. Of course, when I heard about Callum Edams winning the tournament with dwarves, you alright? Yeah. Are you enjoying yourself?
No.
Do you need a hand?
No.
Okay. Callum Edams winning the tournament with dwarves was pretty surprising, considering we didn't think that they had the legs to do it. It sounded like everything just played out how it needed to for him. So yeah, it can happen. Can happen. I'm not sure in terms of weirdest, the weirdest armies. I mean, what's a weird army? Did Liam Miller bring an all-unarmed army last time? I can't remember. Larry Miller, sorry, not Liam Miller. I can't remember. Anyway, next up we got Carl Woolley. He's put, hey guys, I figured I paid £75 for AMA Knight of Pelennor. What do you reckon? Surely worth it for such a beast and beautiful model. A model is worth as much as you are willing to pay for it. He's a lovely model. I probably wouldn't pay £75 for it, but then again I don't have to because I've got him. But yeah, he's a lovely model to have. I was wondering this week if either of you know if a Warhammer Lord of the Rings SBG scene exists at all in South Korea, as I'm moving there soon. P.S. Jamie, where can I find a photo of the finished hobby vlog Hobbit hole? I could not find it on Facebook. Got the missus pumping one out, and mate, it's looking great. Cheers for all the great holiday content. I'm glad that you guys have enjoyed it. I would not know if there is a South Korea Hobbit scene. The best thing to do is get yourself onto the Facebook group, or alternatively go onto the One Ring forum. There is a like a population finder. If you post in there or have a look at previous sticky posts, they've usually got a thing of where people are, so people go on there and go, I'm from South Korea, are there any other Hobbit players, and people who are go on there and talk about it. And if you can't find anybody, make a post and maybe some South Korea players will get in touch with you. And in terms of where the Hobbit hole pictures are, I haven't got a clue, but I'm pretty sure that he does a hobby vlog where he shows the video, so maybe check out our hobby vlog playlist and see if you can find it in there. So thanks for your question, buddy. Next up we got David Whittaker. He's put, I'm sure the tea toast will make it round to you soon, James. Well, not anytime soon, because Steve Crow has given it to Jay Finnegan, I noticed, so I will have to remain tea toastless. He's put, I agree with you on the songs in the book. They can be impossible to put a tune to. I got through the Lord of the Rings audiobook. I got through Lord of the Rings in audiobook form, so I had it a little bit easier. Yeah, the audiobook's really good. But again, the guy who reads that tends to do it in a similar kind of, and that's how you end up doing it when you read them, and it's not as sort of entertaining as it were. It adds flavour, but not really cool for reading, in my personal opinion. Also, I very much agree The Hobbit could have made 2 amazing films rather than 3 pretty good films. Yeah, that's how I've come away thinking after seeing the last one. I really enjoyed it. But you could cut so much that has been put in there to make it 3 films that made it less good, and then put in some of the stuff that would have made it better that would have fit in 2 movies. So it is a bit of a shame. But also, if you could have a celebrity guest on channel for a battle report, who would you pick and what forces would you use in the game? Celebrity in for the battle report. Well, I guess it's got to be someone who's involved in the movies. You know, maybe get Peter Jackson. That would be quite cool. Because that would do wonders for our channel from a subscriber point of view. Or, you know, get a Billy Boyd in, or Ian McKellen, or Martin Freeman, or someone like that. So yeah, maybe one of the characters from the movies. Or alternatively, you know, I still think it'd be really good to get a battle report in at some point in the future, maybe against one of the mini wargaming team, and again that'd be really good for us, because of course they've got a massive subscribership of wargamers. So yeah, maybe either one of mini wargaming Matt or Dave, or somebody from the movies would be a good celebrity guest for us. What forces would I pick? Well, it would have to be Almighty Rohan, because that is me. So yeah. Thanks for your question, David. Next up, we've got Dr. Dan. He's put, hello gents, quick couple of questions. Looking for a grassy coloured cloth to use as, surprise surprise, grass. I have noticed in your back rep that you have something that looks to be ideal. Any help I could get this from? Where is an out of production grass battle mat, so an actual battle mat that used to be sold by Games Workshop that I managed to get hold of just as they went out of production. So that is what you see when we do that. I know that there are a couple of companies that do battle mats. They're reasonably expensive, but you do have to check online. So just type in wargaming battle mats. My dinner's going to be ready any second, guys, so we'll have to cut off shortly. He's put also, only recently got back into the hobby and mainly been playing the Lord of the Rings rules. Just purchased the Goblin Town box set and looked at the new rules. Has volley fire completely disappeared for infantry archers? Yes, it has, and probably a good thing for the game. From what I understand, it made evil archery quite powerful. It made sitting back and shooting and that kind of tactic, and it's, you know, volley fire is more of a sort of I would say like a battle sort of scale rule, really, you know, with blocks of units, something that you might have seen like a Warhammer or a War of the Ring, rather than a skirmish game. It doesn't really translate across. So yeah, no more volley fire. And so also, if you could change the stats of any warrior or hero from the Lord of the Rings game to match the current Hobbit models, what would it be and why? Cheers lads, Dan. I'd make Aragorn fight 7. Aragorn fight 7 would be a good call. So then you'd make your Glorfindel fight 8. I would maybe make all elves fight 6, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I would Knight of Pelennor, I would fix him so he was fight 6, of course. A new Theoden profile is one that is always called out for, as with Lurtz profiles. Numenor would need a big overhaul, so I think Numenorian should be fight 5, and that's why I think elves should be fight 6 as standard. That wouldn't be a bad call. And yeah, that's probably about it. Still could probably read out a couple of questions looking at her dinner plates. Chicken is about to be carved. Oh, and a bottle of Prosecco going in the fridge because it's been Jane's birthday this weekend, hasn't it, Jane?
Yeah.
It's been Jane's birthday. What did we do, Jane?
We went to Lake.
We went to the Lake District, surprise trip to the Lake District. If any of you fancy going for a trip to the lakes, I cannot recommend enough the Swan Inn at Newby Bridge. The Swan at Newby Bridge?
Yeah.
The Swan at Newby Bridge. We went for a bit of a spa there, some food and some walking. It was really nice. Okay, so next question, we've got George Downing. He's put, hi guys, haven't posted a question for a long time, sorry about that. Well, at least you're back. Make sure that you stay in the loop. He's put, I'm hoping to pass my driving test at the end of January, and I was just wondering when any tournaments are, and if any are in the south of England, as I haven't been able to find anybody to play against yet. I'd recommend everybody, you know, be willing to make the journeys to support this hobby. Don't expect to live in a town where you're going to, especially if you live in a smaller town. If you live in somewhere like Manchester or Liverpool or London, or you could probably expect to find a few. And there are some towns in the UK where, you know, you'll be surprised about how many Hobbit players there are, but relatively spread out. So you've got to be willing to sort of make the journey to tournaments. There are lots of tournaments in the south of England. At the end of January, I think you're going to miss Fog on the Finchley Downs. When is that? Let me just check. Fog on the Finchley Downs. That's 18th of January. So you could go to this is going to go up on the 11th. So you could, if you go to a tournament next week, that's in Finchley in North London. The rest of the tournaments are East Grinstead down south, and then tournaments start working their way up into the Midlands. So there's one in Mansfield, there's going to be one in Nottingham. Of course, you've got Warhammer World, where you've got Throne of Skulls, and then you've got Stockport, which is a bit further north, Huddersfield. So yeah, there are a few, and then you've got Scotland and everything as well. So yeah, they are there. They do exist. Check the Facebook group again. Look at the top pin post for the upcoming tournaments. So yeah, good luck with that, George, and you know, you've got a lot to look forward to if you've not been to a tournament yet. We've got some great guys, great community. So next up we've got Al Wood. He's put, hi guys, I posted this comment after watching Speak Friendly question 53, but you ran out of time during 54, so I added it again here. Ran out of time? It mustn't have come up on the phone. I've decided to get back into wargaming, a break of 25 years since I last played a Games Workshop rule set, Warhammer and 40k. Well, welcome back. I'm glad that you chose the Hobbit strategy battle game. It's a great system. He's put, so I bought the Escape from Goblin Town box set and I've ordered some Orc Hunters to make my Goblin army up to 500 points. Good call. So I just wanted to say thanks for the bids, guys. I may be coming to this Hobbit hobby late, but I'd like to make a go of it. Good man, good man. We've got a lot of community support this last couple of years, so it's always good to be welcoming new faces into it. That's what's going to keep it growing and keep it going, really. You put, getting figures before they are no longer available may be a problem though, and source books. Yeah, no time like the present. Just get on top of everything. And the more people that are doing it and buying stuff, of course, if it's a viable business for Games Workshop, they'll keep it going. So it can be a bit frustrating when people sort of say, "Oh, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying. You know, I can't believe they're charging this." But at the same time, we're the first people to moan when we don't get a lot released or things are more expensive thereafter. You know, just if you want it to survive, support it and buy it. And accept that it's an expensive hobby. I've been playing Escape from Goblin Town with my wife, son and daughter, which is cool. Yeah, really good thing to do as a family. Nice scenarios in there. One question that has come up. We know that you have to test to charge a terror-causing character, Goblin King and Thorium of Orcrist. But what if you were charged by a terror-causing character, especially if you were already in combat? Well, if you were charged by a terror-causing character, if a terror-causing character is charged by a terror-causing character, you still have to take courage test, so it doesn't make you fearless, it's not the same rule. And you don't have to take a terror test if you're charged by someone who causes terror, whether you cause terror or not. So,
Ready.
is it ready? The chicken ready?
Yeah.
Is it carved?
I'm waiting for it.
Just start it now and I'll cut the video off when it's plated up. Unless you want me to carve it.
I just want to use the jacket.
It'll be cooked now. It's for keep up the good work, guys, and a peaceful and prosperous 2015 to you all. Cheers. Well, thanks very much, Al. Now, with that in mind, looks like my tea is ready. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So about half the questions left. So I'm going to cut it off here and I will be back after tea. And I'm back, guys, after a fantastic roast dinner, I have to say. So I'm feeling pretty full now. So we've got quite a few questions to still get through, and I believe that I was about 40 minutes into the last one, so this might be a longer episode. So I hope that you guys are getting lots of painting done. So next up, we have Billy Fitzmaurice, and he has put, wait a minute, Jamie has stopped drinking Diet Coke? Oh no, it's amazing, isn't it? And started drinking tea as well. Yeah, good step to take. He's put, there's something about 2015 and I don't like it. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad you come over to the tea side, but it doesn't seem right. Well, it's a great thing. Diet Coke is pretty damn awful for you for lots and lots of reasons. So both of us should really stop drinking it. He's put, my question this week is for James. I'm just wondering if you had the chance to post my 3 People's book yet. Yes, Jamie, I left it at Stockport again. No, I haven't. And what you'll learn about me is that I am incredibly disorganised beyond my own business. So I'm really sorry about that, but I have not posted it to you. I do have it, and I will get around to it. I think I also need to post Sean Hunt's SBG mag from, and that's like from, was that from Stockport? Was it first Stockport? Second Stockport? I can't remember, but it must be the second Stockport. Anyway, I've got a couple of things to post off, but I haven't got around to it. It's not even been in my mind, so I'm sorry about that, Billy. Just keep prodding me and reminding me and I will get around to it. I understand you've been busy with Christmas and everything, so just wanted to remind you. Thanks again, guys. Yeah, been very busy. But yeah, we'll certainly get it out to you at some point. Don't expect to see it on eBay anytime soon. So next up we've got Stephen Gill. He's put, Happy New Year team and great content. Thank you very much, buddy. He's put, I'm still listening to this while I touch up my last two Space Hulk Terminators. Just the librarian to go. Oh, really cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the game, I have to say. I'm probably going to play it without them being painted first of all, and then maybe sometime this year try and get it painted up. So keep an eye out for that. Let us know how you get on with that, mate. He's put no questions, just comments. I just heard your comment about Redwall, which I remember reading when I was younger. As a future board game, I recommend to try Mice and Mystics. It gives the flavour of Redwall with cool minis. I'll have to look into that, sounds really good. Also, my son went to Warhammer World for the Games Workshop Attack on Ravenhill event. He did enjoy it, and there was some helpful and knowledgeable staff, but I did expect more of an effort, e.g. some cool custom terrain, and not just Games Workshop trees with part painted minis. Shakes head. Well, that's a bit of a shame. It's good though, it's good that that Games Workshop and Warhammer World are trying to do like a Hobbit event, try and stir a bit of interest. But if you want like all of the Hobbit flavours, if you want to take your son somewhere, take him to an independent tournament, or maybe even Throne of Skulls, because that's where you're going to see most of the community. And you know, all of your local scene have got a lot of custom-made terrain. So when we've done Stockport, we've tried to build Middle-earth. I know that East Grinstead Wargamers, or Mid-Sussex Wargamers even, they've been doing a lot of that. Titans give that a good bash. They've got smaller tables, but they try and do that. When I went up to Stirling, I was really impressed that they'd even managed to get quite a bit of that side of it done. So yeah, checking out the independent tournament scene, you're probably going to see a little bit more sort of focus in that sense. You put side note, the Goblin Town terrain they have is great and straight out of the rule book. Yes they do have that, which is cool. But I think it's really good to see. When I saw that J. Claire announced that they were going to be doing that, then I was very, very chuffed. And even if there were part painting minis, I'm guessing the purpose of it was to try and get some younger crowd in to, you know, experience what the Hobbit is all about, and hopefully try and muster a little bit of Hobbit hobby support. So hopefully it got a few guys into it, a few younger guys into it, and that can only be a good thing. You put spoiler warning for Battle of Five Armies. And you put, okay, one question: can we have Bayonne bombing as a thing? This is a little tongue-in-cheek because with all the new hero profiles he looks a little underpowered. Maybe a community FAQ, e.g. equals monstrous cavalry when cavalry charge when dropped from an eagle. Looking forward to doing our first tournament and a great hobby year. Yeah, looking forward to you being part of it, pal. Let's remember our tournament is at the end of April, but there's lots of other tournaments you can get stuck into and meet some of the community. I think in friendly games you could do whatever you want, and you know, maybe you get one of the tournament organisers thinking, oh, that might be an idea, and they might decide that's a good bit of fun. Friendly games you can do whatever you want, because ultimately this is a game of toys, but at a tournament I doubt that will be community FAQ'd in. Changing profiles is definitely, there's definitely a line, and you don't really want to go past that line yet, because you know, do we really have the power to do that? As a Great British Hobbit League, probably not right now. So yeah, hopefully see you at Stockport this year, matey. Next up we got Akathon 39s. But hi guys, I was wondering how your New Year plans turned out. I spent mine attempting to assemble Thorin's new armoured company, but my girlfriend made me come down for the countdown. But I don't mind. So your girlfriend was downstairs on New Year's Eve, and you were upstairs assembling models? That's really, you know, time and a place. I think personally, you know, I had a lovely time with Jane. We sat in, and it was pretty chilled out. We'd gone out and got something to eat beforehand. What did we do? Where? I'm trying to remember now. Where did we go? We went for some food. Where did we go? I think we went. Oh, that's right, yeah. So we got a taxi, and this is after Jane had finished. This is after I finished filming with Jamie. We went to, it's a place I took some of the guys on a Sunday night at the last Stockport tournament, the league final that I ran, called Cockadoodle Moose. So we went there. It's very much like a man versus food place. And in fact, there was a guy in there who was attempting their 666 hot wing challenge. Like, there were two of them. They're both like, you know, quite buff looking guys, and one of them did it, one of them managed it, but like, they were in a bad way. Like, part of it, the hardest part of it is after they've eaten, you've got 6 minutes where you can't have a drink, and you should have seen them sweating, mouths burning. I mean, one of them lasted a couple of minutes and they had to get a drink of milk. So yeah, we went there and then we came back home, we had a few drinks together and saw the night in. So yeah, it was nice. I don't know what Jamie did. You put, my question is, what is your dream list of things to see on the Hobbit Extended Edition and appendices? Okay, so I'm guessing you mean like the Battle of Five Army, or do you mean as like a box set? Well, I mean, I've held back from getting the extended editions of the first and second movies purely because I'm really looking forward to that box set. So I am looking forward to seeing the appendices, and if it's anywhere, even if it's half as good as what the Lord of the Rings appendices were, then gosh, it's going to be some really good sort of Hobbit content from that, or Hobbit content from that. It should be good to get some painting done too. In terms of seeing an extended edition, well, I think that the extended edition for Battle of Five Armies, it must be huge because there's so much missed. I mean, the funeral of Thorin feeding Keely, the coronation of Dane. There's definitely some stuff missing from the Dol Guldur, all the Beorn stuff I've not seen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that, I think. Thanks for your question anyway, and you've got another one here. You put, it's me again. I'm still new to Speak Friendly Question, but it feels strange writing a comment and a week later you guys reading it out. I remember having exactly the same feeling when I first wrote a comment for Mini Wargaming Matt on his Sit and Talk. And it was quite weird. I post something up and you'd be watching it and all of a sudden you'd hear like the next thing is from Thermal. I'd be like, what? He's reading out my question. So yeah, I understand it. It's pretty cool. You've put here, especially after spending so long watching all 53 of your episodes. My next question is, presuming that I'm in the loop, yes you are, is what do you think Games Workshop missed out in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, and particular characters you enjoyed from the books but haven't yet made an appearance in SBG? Thanks for listening to what I have to say and look forward to hearing your thoughts. So what do we think that they missed out in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit that Games Workshop missed out on? Well, I guess I'm trying to think now. Well, it's a bit hard with The Hobbit because, you know, we might still end up getting some more evil profiles. I'm just trying to think now. I honestly can't think of things in Lord of the Rings that they didn't do from the movies. I know that maybe it would have been great if they could have continued to expand into the Tolkien universe. And I know that there have been plans to do that, but they never really came to fruition. And it's because the game started to lose support. And the game loses support from the community. It becomes like a vicious circle. So people stop buying it. And when people stop buying it, then obviously they stop supporting it. People stop supporting it. They stop supporting it, and people stop buying it. So no idea really to that one. I'm sorry about that. But thanks very much for your question as always, and I'll see you at next week's Speak Friendly Question. So next up we've got Thalianor. He's put, hello guys, this week is my first question. Well, welcome to the loop, my friend. He's put, I have watched your channel since I first got into the hobby about 2 months ago, and I think that is great. Well, I hope you're not the only one that thinks that. We want to keep this going. You know, try and get videos out, trying our best to get videos out every day. We've kind of set ourselves up with a very big expectation because it's something that we've managed. I mean, in all the time that we've been doing this, we've only missed a few days' content, really. You know, probably less than a week and a half's worth of content that we've missed putting out since we started this. So it's pretty good going, considering it's not our job. We don't get paid to do this. This is a hobby, and we're both busy boys. You put here, so in order to support you guys, I will try and ask a question each week. We really appreciate that. If you guys are asking questions, and these videos are really fleshed out, and that's what we want really. I live in New Zealand, and here none of the source books are available for purchase on the Games Workshop website, and the stores have been made to take them off the shelves. Really? Wow. Who told you that? This includes the Desolation of Smaug source book. It's quite a shame. So is there any way to get the profiles from the source book over the internet or something, as I only really need the profiles? No. Go on eBay. I mean, you can go on to, I think Lonely Knight's Army Builder is a way of having an idea of the profiles because it helps you build the armies, but it's not the same as having a source book. I would you can get the Hobbit profiles from the Black Library website, but I don't think all of the Desolation of Smaug and new stuff is on there. Obviously the latest thing was a free supplement with a white dwarf, so hopefully you managed to get that. No, I would say keep an eye on eBay, or try and find, you know, when you go on the Games Workshop website, there might not be any available in New Zealand, but if you put in that you're from another country, you can order it from another country that maybe some of the source books are available. And I would definitely suggest doing that rather than looking for free ways of getting the profiles. So I hope that helps. I'm not sure how reliable eBay is, so I just thought I'd see what you guys think. Thanks, keep up the good work. Thanks very much. Yeah, do keep an eye out on eBay, that's probably a good idea. And local gaming stores are a good way to go. So maybe try and find some local gaming stores in your area, and maybe, you know, they bought some in and never managed to sell them. So that's not a bad way to go. Okay, so next up we got Stephen Lyon. He's thought up another question. Hopefully it makes up for missing one. I was wondering if you thought it would be okay to convert Rangers of Arnor into Rangers of Dol Amroth. Okay, so I don't see why not, as long as you use a Gondor hero to lead the... Oh, Rangers of Arnor, as long as you use a Arnorian leader to lead them, then of course you can put whatever fluff on it as you want. But it's got to still follow the Warbound rules, so if you want to use the Rangers of Arnor profile, then I'm guessing that's because you want to use a Ranger of, Arnor hero, and then maybe use that Arnor hero, but then for fluff reasons maybe give him a different name. But you could also do the same with Rangers of Gondor, and maybe use like a Beragond or something. Would make more sense from a fluff point of view. Now you don't even have to change who they are really. And there's no reason why you couldn't sort of say that they're Rangers of Dol Amroth even if they're not. But you couldn't get a fiefdoms hero to lead them, not unless you take them as Blackroot Vale archers. So I hope that helps a little bit, Stephen. Thanks for your question. Next up we got Jordan Giacinti. He's put, hey guys, I'm thinking about using a warband with Gildor and his Norduin Exiles. What do you think is the best strategy when fielding them? And what has your experience been like when using them? Keep those videos coming, your pal from Canada. Right, okay, so when you do that, it is allowing you the Wood Elf profile effectively. So you want to make use of some of the war gear that those guys can take. So things like Wood Elf spears and, you know, the bows. It's like getting cheap bows in there. I would say that that's probably the best way to do it, is to use that warband as your third bow limit. So you've not necessarily got armoured bows then. With Wood Elf spears to support. The 4-inch movement, the 8-inch movement isn't massively helpful and not necessarily worth the extra point. But you know, you could do it so that you're getting that extra movement if you're doing moving and shooting as a tactic, so equip them with bows. But I think it might be better actually using them with Wood Elf spears and bows, and then you're adding something to your High Elf list that you don't really have. And my experience like with using Gildor has always let me down, like really let me down. He's a gorgeous model, and I'm really glad that I own him, but oh my days, every game I've used him, he has proper fluffed it. And awful. I don't think I've ever cast anything with Gildor, ever. Thanks for your question anyway, matey. So next up we've got Dave Egan. He's put, hello again lads, welcome back. He's put, yeah James, I was up in Palace Barracks, Belfast on the 28th of November for my psychometric test. I passed it. Oh, congratulations. So it was grand, although slightly harder than before. When I did it for the first time 4 years ago, I was straight out of school, so my brain was in better shape. Yeah, I've noticed that. You know, I went through periods of time where I just couldn't remember words and stuff, and I didn't feel as articulate as I was in school, because in school you're reading all the time, you're writing all the time, and I think it's interesting, you can lose a little bit of that if you're not doing it all the time. So very important to keep on top of those kind of skills. So anyway, the careers office said they'd be in touch in the new year with a date for an interview and a medical in February. The pre-joining fitness test will probably be about 2 or 3 weeks later. My training is going well, took it easy over Xmas of course. But now back into the new year, I'm going to be going flat out Dubakar. He's put, now for a question, what points will the Desolation of Stockport in April be? Happy strategy battle gaming, lads. Well, we've not finished formulating the event. Maybe me and Jamie will sort of finish off talking about that this week. But I think it will probably be around 600 points again. And I'm personally hoping, I can't speak from, I'm personally hoping that it'll be a mixture of, you know, we'll have a few of the standard scenarios and hopefully use some of the custom scenarios that we've used before, and maybe something a little bit different in there. So it's not just like, you know, your standard tournament, but we shall see. Me and Jamie have to talk about that. So thanks for your question. Next up we've got that guy 513 for a great speak friendly question this week. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Yeah, it's always good when me and Jamie are together. I understand that, you know, when there's two of us and you've got that kind of banter and interaction, it's of course it's a lot harder when you're presenting these on your own, because you've not got someone next to you to take the mickey out of. You know, and to have that thing with, so you're trying to do it with the camera, and hopefully we can do these videos on our own, which isn't ideal. You know, they're not really poor. You know, they're good enough. But yeah, I agree. Well, I say I agree. I don't know whether that's why you think it was a good one, but I think that it's really good when we're together, of course. So we will try and do that. But of course, when we need to get content out, as long as you guys don't mind it being just me every now and again, then we'll continue to do that as well. So next up we've got Quinn Boermeyer. He's put, hey guys, thanks for answering my question last week, absolute pleasure. He's put, it's a shame about Sting though. Anyways, my question this week is, do you guys think there should be new profiles for the Fellowship as to match the new buffed Hobbit SBG character profiles? Anyways, thanks always, Quinn. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. It won't ever happen, I don't think, but it would be really cool if it happened. I mean, you don't need new profiles for the Hobbits and stuff. I guess you're looking at Gimli and Legolas. I guess you could, I mean, the Legolas profile could be, you could update him so he's fight 7. But I think Aragorn fight 7 is the only real change I think that could really be made to make that viable. Because you can use the new Legolas profile if you want. You know, yeah, you lose the ability to go on a horse. Sorry, no, you don't. Sorry, you don't lose the ability to go on a horse. What are you losing? Well, it's the fact that you've got Orcrist is the difference there, isn't it? So you can use the new Legolas, but old Aragorn being fight 7, I think, is a key stat. Is a key stat change. The rest of the Fellowship you keep the same. I think it'd be really good to have a version of Gandalf the White, who was 3 attacks, like in the Minas Tirith list or something, like to reflect him leading them in that sense. But no, maybe just Aragorn, fight 7. So thanks for that, matey. Next up we've got Random336933. He's put another great video, guys. Haven't commented in a while, but still love the videos. Thank you very much. He's put, I was looking through the big rule book and noticed under Radagast's spells that he has Panic Steed. Does this affect monstrous mounts such as Felbeast? And if so, with its 2+ cast, don't you think it's a little overpowered? Well, if you come to tournaments and see Radagast using Panic Steed in action, it's not particularly overpowered. It can't be used, well, monstrous mounts, so yeah, it can be used against Felbeasts. But what is on a Felbeast? On a Felbeast is a Ring Wraith. So using Panic Steed is a good way of drawing will from the Ring Wraith. But a good Ring Wraith player is probably going to know how many dice to throw at that and might it up if he needs to. So I think 2+ is reasonable. I've never seen it be used massively effectively. I mean, who used it against me? Dave Nolan. When we were at Stirling, I had my evil army, which was Isengard, but I had the Witch King on Felbeast because I wasn't able to get Saruman painted up in time, which was a shame. And he was popping off Panic Steed on me just to try and burn through my will. Which, you know, you've got to use will to resist it, otherwise you lose your Felbeast. You know, so it can be annoying, but it's not overpowered. It's not overpowered at all. More overpowered spells are things like Sap Will. Sap Will on like a 3 or 4 plus is ridiculous. Yeah, that's a tough one. Okay, so next up we got Lewis McDonald. He's put great New Year's resolution, Jamie. It means you get more pints of Stella instead. Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't mind that. Okay, we've got Scott Johnson up next. He's put, hi guys, Happy New Year to you all. Happy New Year. He's put, hope you've had a good Christmas and New Year. Apologies for the lack of questions recently. I've not been able to watch Speak Friend Question until after you recorded the next one. A couple of army build questions this week. I'm building an army of Thrall, which I want to be as fluffy as possible. The dwarves in this list have no bows. Is this a big problem? Should I forfeit a bit of fluff and replace some dwarf warriors for some Dale bowmen? No, I mean, it's up to you really. I mean, it's good to be able to respond, obviously, so that you know, if you do come up against a skirmishing army, you got to think what the chances. What the chances you're going to come up against anything that's going to really give you problems. I mean, your defense 7, so anything with strength 2 bows is going to struggle to pick you off really. If you were going to do your army of Thrall, then Dale Bowman wouldn't be sacrificing fluff. I think it'd be really good. So it's completely up to you really. I tend to think that it's not a bad idea having something to count them, but you don't necessarily want it to be token. So if you're going to do it, you've got to take the 3rd bowman and commit to it, or not do it at all. That's probably what my advice would be. He's put, secondly, at larger points levels, I want to include Thrain and Thorin. And for fluff purposes, Thrain should be my leader. But Thorin with Oakenshield, you probably shouldn't have Oakenshield based on the timeline, but I'm willing to overlook this, seems a better option. Both D8, but Thorin can shield. What would you go for? Cheers. Well, I would almost certainly always use Thorin first and foremost. But Thrain as a leader, is pretty good. He is pretty good. He's not going to die easy. He's got numbers in the right places, as we would say. Yep, high defense. So yeah, use him as your leader. If you want to do it for fluff, then you can't say really, you know, oh, I want to do this for fluff, but from a competitive point of view, you've got to choose one or the other. If you want to make a decision for fluff, then you've got to choose. You've got to go for it for fluff. And if you want it not to be fluffy, then you know, don't be fluffy. Go with Thrain. That's my advice. From what it sounds here, it sounds like you want to be a bit more of a fluffy player. Okay, so next up we've got Bulletin Bertie. I think that's what it says. He put, hey guys, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. He's put, I've been doing this hobby for 11 years now and haven't done much Lord of the Rings, Hobbit stuff, related stuff since 2009 really, except the occasional purchase here and there, but not really much painting and even less playing. Well, welcome back hopefully. You put, until I found your channel in early 2014. I must say you guys really brought back my enthusiasm and inspiration to finally finish some of my armies. Well, that is great news. That is great news. It's such a sad thing to both of us, you know, in terms of getting people inspired for their hobby and to get back into it if they've not done it for a while, or even to get started. So those are the kind of things we want to hear, because, you know, tagline, support your Hobbit hobby. And I hope that we're supporting it by doing this channel, and then that gets other people to get involved or back involved. You put here, so a huge thank you for you guys. I loved all your battle reports, started playing Battle Companies, and I'm especially looking forward to every episode of the Planter. Yeah, Planter is a good show, really good show. So here comes my question. Since I just managed to get 4 long Angmar and some Clansmen of Langdon, I wonder, when feinting with a sword while going two-handed, can you still reroll 1s since they are essentially 2s? Yes. Yes, it's the dice roll, not the modified score, I'm guessing. So yeah, if you get 1s, I'm sure you can re-roll them. And put greets from Germany and keep up the good work. Yeah, I would say that you could still re-roll them. That would be my answer. And I hope people wouldn't question that. If you roll a 1, you get to re-roll 1s, so you can re-roll your 1. Ooh, phone buzz. Next up, you've got Ross Tomlinson. He's put, what is your opinion of GW not promoting Hobbit SBG compared to 40k, which is the golden child in the Games Workshop war game family? Love the vids and hope you have a great new year. Well, Games Workshop are a business, aren't they? So they are going to get behind the things which are successful more and which are making them more money more, because it makes sense from a business point of view, and they're going to offer less support to the things which are less profitable. Warhammer 40k is their intellectual property, so therefore they don't have to worry about things like whether they can renew licenses or even have to pay somebody for the ability to do it. So therefore it's more profitable, and they can take it in whatever direction they want, whereas you don't necessarily have that kind of control when you're using someone else's intellectual property, and that's the problem with it ultimately. And unless all of a sudden everybody starts buying loads of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and really gets behind it, which is what we've been trying to do, and it sounds like to a degree that's been very successful, but sales still aren't where they need to be in order for it to continue. I completely understand why they get behind 40k more, because it makes them the most money. It's like, so I've had a few people at Biotic Fit complaining with some of the new timetable changes lately. We started off as an outdoor fitness company and we still run a huge amount of outdoor fitness classes, but the fact is the market has changed and my number of outdoor fitness members and the profitability of that has gone down, so therefore I have to remove some of the less popular classes. And over the last 4 or 5 months, Saturday morning class has really gone down. So of course, from a business point of view, you've got to take that away, and people are upset about it and they say, well, you seem to be supporting the gym more, why are you supporting the gym more? And the fact is that the gym in the long run looks like it's going to be able to make us more money, and we're a business and we've got to do that, and you can see that in the class numbers. So so yeah, it's a business decision, isn't it? So I can completely understand why they get behind 40k more than the Hobbit. I would like to see them support Lord of the Rings more, because I love Lord of the Rings and I love the Hobbit, and that's what I play. I don't play 40k. But I can understand from a business point of view why that might be difficult, if people aren't buying loads from it. So next question, we got the Ceresio. Hey guys, thanks for answering my question last week. Here's another problem I've come across while playing with my friends. There was an unarmed model which obviously gets -1 on the wounding dice. It also needs 6s to wound. Managed to get a 6, but then obviously it gets -1, so rolled a 5. Can this model never wound? I guess we misunderstand something here. I've actually played this wrong a couple of times and right a couple of times, because it's something that doesn't come up much. Because it gets -1 to wound, if you need 6s, if you roll a 6, it becomes a 5. You can might that to become a 6 if you have might and cause the wound. You can do that. However, if you don't have might to might that up, you can never wound. It doesn't become that you've got to roll 6s by 4s or whatever it is. It doesn't become that. So it doesn't move up the scale. So if you haven't got might to turn it to a 6, you can't wound. You put thanks in advance for answering my question. Also, sorry for my English, it's not my first language. Greetings from Vienna in Austria. Well, I think your English is fine, buddy. Much better than some people in this country, so don't worry about that at all. So next up we got William Farquharson. I think I've got that right. If not, then let me know. He's put, hi guys, I recently got back into the hobby and your channel has helped a lot to get me up to date with all hobby related news. Thanks guys. Absolute pleasure. That's what we're here for. So I have 2 questions for you today. Firstly, does the exception to the bow limit rule for riders of Rohan also apply to riders of Khand? Nope. Not unless there's an FAQ that says that they can be 100% bows. Which, off the top of my head, I don't think there is there? Not that I've ever seen, although I wouldn't know. Because I don't have Khand, but that rule doesn't apply to them. That rule is specific for riders of Rohan. That FAQ is for riders of Rohan, and unless it says for riders of Khand as well, Khandish horsemen, then no. And secondly, can mounted models have a shield as well as a banner? I thought models generally had to drop other equipment when carrying a standard, but the Eastern Cataphrans and the Heralds of the King's Champion seem to be able to carry both a shield and banner. Yeah, some things can, and then in the new Hobbit rules, you can carry other equipment. You don't necessarily always get the benefits of it, but you can carry it. Sorry if these are questions which can be solved by reading the new rule book. Haven't got my hands on one yet, but will soon. Yeah, if you read the new rule book, then you'll be fine. Thanks again and keep up the good work. Okay, so next up we've got Dominic Harris. He's put, hi, I only recently subscribed to your channel. Keep up the good work, guys. Welcome. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, get on it. Why would you not subscribe? The only thing that is going to be different is that you get notified of when our content is coming up, and you also are supporting this channel. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, click that button now. There's no, you're not going to suddenly be hounded with things that you don't want. All you're going to get is the odd email to whichever you've got your YouTube thing with, saying a battle report has been released, you know, or Speak Friend in Question is up. That's all you're going to get. You put, I have a query for you. I'm running a 500 point Rivendell Knight army. Good choice. And have purchased the Arwen model mounted on foot to use as Lindir. Would that be acceptable in an official tournament or only for casual games? Only for casual games, I'm afraid. Yeah, you can't do that. And you know, you can contact a tournament. I'm pretty sure, for example, you know, JT up in Huddersfield seems to be pretty relaxed about being able to do things like that. But most tournaments will say, well, that is clearly against the warband rules of strategy battle games. So in friendly games, go for it. Sounds like great fun, but certainly wouldn't be able to do that at one of our tournaments. Okay, next up we got VLR Productions. He's put, I need help, with exclamation marks. Well, I hope we can help. He's put, I'm hoping that got your attention. I have two questions, sorry. No problem at all. He's put, firstly, would it be legal to proxy Palace Guard warriors as the new Battle of Five Armies Mirkwood elves with Elven Blade and Shield in tournaments? The prices of new elves are ridiculous. Not without converting them. If you just leave them as they are, then it is a clear proxy, and that's not fair on your opponents. So in friendly games, no problem, you get to try out new profiles, but no, sorry, not without converting anyway. You put, and secondly, what do you think of this list? You've got Thranduil, King of the Woodland Realm, with 6 Mirkwood elves with Elven Blade and Shield, or Glaive, you haven't decided yet. Tariel from Desolation of Smog with 4 Mirkwood Rangers, and Legolas from Desolation of Smog 4 Mirkwood Rangers, 497 points. I would drop Tariel. And get more troops. You don't have enough troops there really. You've either got to go one way or the other. The way that you're doing it at the moment, you should definitely, drop Tariel and have more troops with Legolas and with Thranduil, and that's what I would say. Okay, I hope that helped. So a few more questions. Next up we've got Toby Mennel. He's put, hi guys, Happy New Year to you too. He's put, I've been watching the channel for quite a while now, and my New Year's resolution was to leave a comment on Speak Friend in Question. Well, thank you very much. You're now in a loop, which means that New Year or not, you have to ask a question next week. He's put, can Gildor be used to enable all High Elf heroes to take Wood Elves? If so, would you ever consider using them to lead Wood Elves, as they have some powerful heroes? Gilglad, the twins, etc. Thanks for the great content, Toby. Well, I don't think it's limited to just his warband. I think it allows you to take... Have I got the free... I might have the free people. Just bear with me 1 second, guys, and I shall have a little look. I think I've got free people's handy. Here we go. Okay, here it is. That's right, I am in my Jim Jams. My Batman Jim Jams that I got from the elves on Christmas Eve. That's right. And excuse the hat as well. It's been quite cold in here, so that's why I've got the hat on. And I've also got proper hat hair, so because I've been wearing it all day, if I take it off, I mean, mind you, there you go, I mean, look at the state of that. In fact, who cares? It's just you guys, isn't it? I'll leave it off. Okay, so let's have a look at what it says. So looking in the free peoples, good idea to get this, guys, if you get a chance. Okay, it says if your army includes Gildor and Glorian, you can upgrade any number of Wood Elf warriors to Noldorin Exiles at a cost of +1 point per model. Okay, so yes, you can use. It means you could have your whole army as Noldorin Exiles. That does mean though. So a normal High Elf warrior without any kit is 9 points, whereas a Wood Elf warrior, or a Noldorin Exile, bear with me, a Noldorin Exile would be 8 points base before you give it any kit. And you would want to be giving it an elf bow, which would take them to 10 points, whereas a high elf with a bow would be 11 points. Wood elf spear. I think the way that you could do it, you could have your second rank as the 9 points. It's tough. I mean, you could do it, but whether it could be competitive, it's the fact that you're paying that extra point. I mean, don't get me wrong, wood elves are really good, but they're really good because they're very cheap for everything that you get. They become 8 points, basically base, for a special rule that isn't going to be that useful, and all of a sudden, you know, do you take doing that? The fact they can have a wood elf spear is very, very helpful. So you could always have like a second rank and maybe have like a harder front rank. That might be a way to go. But then you've got Gildor's not a great hero really. He doesn't bring that much to the table. But maybe worth a thought. Maybe worth a thought. But I just think that the wood elf list in total is better anyway, even though the high elves have powerful heroes. I think the wood elf list has got some very, very useful mid-level heroes which allow them, and some very undercosted, very good troops. It's a fantastic list, and you'll hear about that when we actually review the Free People Sourcebook, which we will be doing at some point over the next few weeks. And then you put, thanks for the great content, Toby. Well, thanks for your question. Next up we've got Ian Banter Marley. He's put, yo, so, question this week. An extra 30 minutes will be added to the Battle of 5 Armies Extended Edition. What would you like to see in this Extended Edition, and why? Kept the question small, as I know Jamie cannot handle big questions, bless him. Well, he's not here anyway. Well, I think we've already answered this question. I think someone already asked what would you like to see. I would like to see the funeral of Thorin, Fili and Keely, the coronation of Dane, some more of the Dol Guldur stuff, a little bit more on Radagast and Beorn and the Eagles coming, because that's very underdeveloped. You know, you don't even see how Gandalf gets the staff from Radagast. So yeah, that's what I want to see. Thanks for your question. Next up we got Stephen Crow. He's put, hi guys, happy new year. Whoop whoop. He's put, thought I'd pop a couple of questions over since it's been a few weeks. So I've been using Gondor again, as you know, and because I had a little break from them and played around with monsters, wizards and filth, etc., I found a new love for my fluffy men of Gondor. Yeah, Steve, you've got to stay as Mr. Gondor. It's like me. It's like me if I completely stopped playing cavalry, you know, for favour of something else. I mean, like completely. Everybody knows me as the Rohan man and the cavalry man now. And you take a good Gondor army. Although I understand that now you are taking a bit more of an elite army. But I have to say, I really enjoyed that battle that we had with the Sons of El versus the Fountain Court. Very, very cool. I look forward to taking it on again, because I understand now that you backed it up with a lot of Citadel Guard with spear and bow, so that's very interesting. Getting the strength 3 bow in there could be very useful. It's just about picking the right heroes for you, I think. So first question has come up from a recommendation Mr. Finnegan suggested, and I thought I'd ask your opinion. I've always had the dilemma of taking Faramir or Boromir with my force, and as you also know, James, I tried Bozzart out at Mats the other night to good effect. Yeah, Boromir is awesome. Then Jay asked, why don't I try both? So Faramir maxed out, but instead of Boromir Captain of Gondor, used the Fellowship version. There isn't much difference points wise, but you get 2 mounted heroes instead of 1, and the trade-off for Boromir's Will and Fate is getting the stats of 3-2-2 with Faramir alongside the 6-might Boromir. The only problem is no lance, which Boromir with, in my opinion, is awesome. What do you guys think? I love Boromir of Gondor. Try it and see if it works. I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, yeah, you effectively, I think having Faramir and Boromir of Gondor is better than having the new Boromir, because Faramir's got the lance and Boromir's got the might. So, good call. Give it a go. See how it is. But Boromir of Gondor, if you've not used him, He's one of the most fun profiles in that entire system, and you know, there's some gorgeous. I mean, the Breaking of the Fellowship Boromir that I've got, I cannot wait to finish painting that model. I need a new fine detail paintbrush, and I need to get some time so that I can do a bit of painting, because you know, I miss it. And that's going to be the only way I'm going to get a lot of hobby this year, is either by doing the channel and any battle reports we need to do for the channel, or by painting. So, so question 2 is, following my Gondor and Kingdoms of Men week, how would a bog standard force like Gondor that has no monsters or wizards deal with the like of Sauron, Saruman or Wraiths? Are the odds really stacked against me as much as I'm guessing? Well, it depends on the scenario that you're playing. I would say that always play for the scenario if you can. Think about what the objectives are, and think about how long you've got to play and where you can steal those objectives. Dealing with like Sauron, of course, if you're playing against anything that's sort of all hero or wizards, I mean, wizards should go down reasonably quickly if you can get a bunch of troops on them. They're not particularly high fights. You know, you've got a fight 6 hero in Boromir. You know, they've only got 1 attack on foot, so it's not necessarily likely that they're going to win the fight. So if you've got them trapped, a wizard could go down pretty quickly. You've just got to really go for it. In terms of Sauron, it's exactly the same. Any kind of big monster really is at some point, if it runs out of fate, then runs out of might, or hasn't got any might, you're going to trap it, a heroic strike against it, and you know, or if you can't heroic strike, at some point it's not going to roll a 6. And if you think of it as like, right, I'm trying to put as much dice onto this as possible, and if you can try and guarantee yourself rolling a 6 at all times, then at some point, like the likes of Sauron or a monster of some kind, or like a Treebeard, at some point they're not going to roll the 6. At that point you want to make sure that they're trapped, that you've got axes if possible, so that you can piercing strike and take down that heavy armour. Because the problem that you've got with Gondor is you've got a lot of strength 3, so you've got to find ways of being able to have the option to get higher defence in there. One way that you could do that is, of course, is including your Gondor cavalry, but I know that you're moving away from that. And I say that because, of course, your Gondor cavalry have got lances, so all of a sudden that's going to make it easier to wound bigger things. So yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit. So we've got 2 more questions left, and that's handy because it looks like I'm running out of storage on my camera, so I'll have to delete some content that we've got on there. We've got Lixation. He's put, hey guys, I was wondering what the deal is with the Black Númenórean Marshal. The Mordor sourcebook shows an image of a Black Númenórean that you get with a resin blister pack, blister of Black Númenórean warriors. Is this image a mistake, or is the warrior contained in the blister actually a Black Númenórean Marshal? Thanks. Well, I think you can use a Black Númenórean as a Marshal, just because there's never a Black Númenórean Marshal model. A lot of people, there's a Morgul Knight in the plastic box set who is different. He's got like a sword raised. A lot of people use that as a Black Númenórean Marshal when they mount him. But yeah, you can use a normal Black Númenórean, just make it clear to your opponent which one is which, and a good way to do that is give them a bit more of a heroic pose, but mount them on a rock and stuff like that. But to my mind, there's no Black Númenórean Marshal model. Next up, and the final question of this week's Speak Friend question, is the one and only Cha-Cha Master! And he's not got a question this week. He's put, no questions this week, only cheers from Poland. I think he's just reminding us he's alive after we were so worried about him for so long. So that has been this week's Speak Friend in question. It did include an apology, of course, for not being able to finish Fallen Realms week, so that it was all in this week, but do expect to get that content next week. And even more content, as always, being planned by myself and Jamie when we get a chance. Jamie is going down to Damien's for the Fog on Finchley Downs tournament. So I know that they're planning to get a little bit of content, and me and Jamie spoke tonight. Hopefully they're going to get some Let's Try stuff, maybe do some Let's Try Warmaster, but I'm not 100% on that, so don't promise things that I don't know about. So as always guys, make sure that you comment, like, share and subscribe, that you support your Hobbit hobby, that you follow us on Facebook and on Twitter, and if you asked a question this week, ask a question next week. If you didn't ask a question this week, ask a question next week, because that's what we need. Support your Hobbit hobby, and happy strategy battle gaming.